welcome to my 4.06 Conservation Models presentation. I chose to do the carbon cycle. The carbon cycle begins with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which plants absorb for photosynthesis. Animals then eat the plants and release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The animals then die and decompose, releasing carbon and eventually becoming fossil fuels, which you can tell from this illustration. The fossil fuels are then burned for energy in factories, releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And you can tell that it's that for a factory. This is where plants photosynthesize the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, restarting the whole process. Diffusion is the process where carbon is released from seawater. It begins where carbon is held in seawater, which you can tell in that illustration. Air passes over the water, the carbon is picked up and released into the atmosphere. Another way that this happens is when underwater plants photosynthesize. Then fish and other animals eat the plants and respire, releasing carbon into the water. Clams and mollusks take carbon from the water to make their own shells, which then break down and become rocks, which then break down and release carbon into the water. Ocean circulation, which is the process where cold, carbon-rich water from deep in the water is taken up to the surface, takes the water up to the surface of the ocean, and diffusion takes place. Here I have a list of several different important points for the carbon cycle, such as the law of conservation of mass, which states that in a closed system, mass can neither be created or destroyed. This is especially true for the carbon cycle, as the mass of the dead animal and the mass of the oil remains the same. Carbon can be used in several of its different forms, which is oil and carbon dioxide as two examples. It also has several forms of energy, such as chemical, mechanical, thermal, and electrical. I've listed some of the forms of energy over here, and this chart helps you realize what they are. Definitions. The carbon cycle, the series of processes by which carbon compounds move through environments. Fossil fuels, fuels that are formed deep underground from dead plants or animals. Photosynthesis, a process that uses sunlight to synthesize foods from carbon dioxide and water for plants. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it extremely educational.